The girl who tended the dark. Every family has a door they don't explain. Ours was at the edge of the property, past the woodpile and the rusted iron gate that had never, in my memory, opened on any hinge. The door stood alone in the field, no wall, no building, just a frame of black oak, fitted with a handle worn smooth by generations of palms. My mother went to it every new moon, my grandmother before her, my great-grandmother before that. I grew up knowing not to ask what was on the other side, only that someone had to go. I asked once, when I was 7. My mother looked at me the way adults look at a question they have been waiting for and dreading in equal measure. She said, "The dark is a living thing, and living things need tending." She did not elaborate. She went to the door that night and came back 20 minutes later, smelling of pine resin and something older, something that had no name in the vocabulary of the living world. She made tea. She did not speak of it again. In our family, silence was not an absence. It was the shape of the agreement. I was 34 when my mother died, and the responsibility passed to me. There was no ceremony, no instruction manual, no meeting with a lawyer. There was only the key she left on the kitchen table, tarnished iron too large for any modern lock, and a folded note that said, "Go on the new moon. Bring the salt. Do not look at the threshold. Do not go further than the first clearing. Do not stay longer than the dark allows." And then her handwriting, smaller, at the bottom. "It already knows you. It has been watching you since you were born." The first time I went, I told myself it was to honor her memory. A ritual, meaningless but comforting, the way so many rituals are. I took the salt from the kitchen shelf, a cloth bag, heavy, drawstring pulled tight, and I walked across the field in the new moon dark. The door was cold under my hand. When it opened, it did not open into the field behind it, the way a door, standing alone in open land, should. It opened into something else, something old, a forest that did not belong to the geography of any map I had ever seen. The trees were wrong, not dead, not dangerous, just profoundly, impossibly old, older than the word old can carry. I went to the first clearing the way my mother's note instructed. In the center of it, the ground was dark and soft, like earth at the edge of a spring, and I poured the salt in a wide circle the way something in my hands seemed to remember, even though my mind did not. The moment the last grain fell, the clearing changed. A sound moved through it, not wind, not animal, something layered and resonant, like a chord played on an instrument with no name. And something at the edge of the tree line shifted, not stepped forward, not retreated, only acknowledged me. I went back every month. The salt, the clearing, the sound. I stopped needing the note after the third visit. The knowledge came up through me the way muscle memory comes, not thought, only known. I began to understand that the word tending had not been metaphor. The dark of that forest was genuinely alive, the way a deep ocean is alive, not in the sense of individual creatures, but in the sense of something enormous and continuous that has its own slow, immense breath. And our family had been, for longer than any living member could trace, the ones who reminded it that it was not forgotten. There is a loneliness to the ancient. I had not considered it before, that even darkness can ache to be seen. The third year, I stayed too long, not from carelessness, from grief, from the particular grief of being the last one, the one at the end of a chain that had stretched through centuries of women before me. I stood in the clearing after the salt was poured, and I simply did not leave when the dark began to deepen, and it did not send me away. Instead, something moved from the tree line and stood at the edge of my circle. I cannot describe it. I can only say that it was the shape of something that had chosen a shape for my benefit, and the shape it chose was a woman, and the woman was tall and made of bark and shadow and a patience that made my whole life feel like an afternoon. She did not speak in language, she spoke in pressure, in the way the air thickened and thinned, the way my pulse changed, the way certain memories surfaced without my calling them. I understood that she was telling me the history, not our family's history, the other history, the one that began before any human family had thought to maintain it. She showed me, in this wordless grammar, that the door had been made by someone who understood that the dark was not evil, but ancient, and that ancient things, left unacknowledged, grow strange with hurt, that the salt was not protection for us, it was a gift, an assurance. We are here. We remember you. My mother had not been keeping something at bay, she had been keeping something company. I left when the dark allowed, the same way it always did, not expelled, but gently unheld, the way sleep releases you in the morning. I walked back through the door. It closed behind me, and the field was just a field again, and the stars were ordinary stars, and the house behind me had lights in the windows. But I was different. I understood for the first time that I was not the last of something. I was the current of something. The stream does not end at any particular stone. It continues past every stone, shaped by each one, but not finished by any. I have a daughter now. She is 4. She does not ask about the door yet, but she watches it, in the particular way children watch things that watch them back. On new moon nights I sometimes find her at the window, not frightened, just attentive, the way I must have looked at 7, before I knew enough to pretend I hadn't noticed. I will explain it to her when she's ready. I'll say what my mother said. The dark is a living thing, and living things need tending. I'll add what my mother did not say, what I had to learn by staying too long in a clearing, in a forest that exists on no map. And living things, when they are tended faithfully, tend you back in ways you will not expect, and cannot plan for, and will spend the rest of your life trying to find words for. The oldest agreements are not written down. They are kept in the body, passed hand to hand across every generation that was brave enough to walk toward the dark with salt and an open palm. Some inheritances cannot be sold or given away or left behind. They find you wherever you go, patient as the dark itself. Thank you for listening to Storytime Scary Dark. If this story found you tonight, subscribe for new dark tales every week, and leave a light on for the things that tend us back.